Hey, this is Avery Jameson. I am a basketball trainer here in Knoxville, and this is the No Playbook Podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the show. This is the podcast featuring the outstanding athletes, coaches, and experts from East Tennessee. Today, so happy to feature Avery Jameson on the show. Avery and I worked together briefly. It was a while ago, but I got to know the guy and see his passion and just how much he cares for coaching young basketball players. He really does go above and beyond to just learn the sport, how he can help young athletes improve, and he puts so much into that. He joins the show today to talk a little bit about that, just what his coaching goals are, and he shares one unforgettable sports memory. This episode is sponsored by Stinnett Collision with locations in Maryville and Sevier County. So I'll get to Avery Jameson right after this. Sit tight.
Hi, I'm Zach Stinnett, third-generation owner of Stinnett Collision. As a proud supporter of Tennessee athletics, we know that every game counts. When a collision puts you out of play, we're here to get you back in the game. Family owned since 1965, Stinnett Collision now has locations in Maryville and Sevierville. With double the space and a team of certified technicians, we'll tackle your repairs and get you back on the road in no time. Don't let a collision sideline you. Visit Stinnett Collision today.
Most definitely. Matter of fact, that just reminded me. I thought of another guy. A guy that I talked to came to the gym some this summer. Have you been on? Do you know who Igor Milicic is?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to have him on here at some point?
Absolutely. Heck yeah.
He's pretty cool. He's really interesting. His dad is a head coach overseas in a big league. I don't know if he's EuroLeague, but he's like one of the bigger leagues overseas. And yeah, his dad's like a basketball, like if you ask like an NBA coach or a college coach, like they're going to know Igor Milicic Sr. And so it's pretty cool that his son's, as talented as he is.
It's amazing how good of a shooter he is for his size.
That thing, he's got the purest looking. It's crazy. I got a video on my phone this summer when he came to pick up, and he had one. He caught it at the half court line, and he just kind of stood straight up. He didn't sink his hips or nothing. Form shoot. I don't even know if he jumped. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah. Well, he saved us with a shot clock situation yesterday. He had a shot. I mean, he was like 35 feet out. And he didn't make it, but it caught rim enough for us to get a offensive rebound and put it up again. But I was like, geez, that guy, he's a dead eye.
He's a solid shooter.
So what are you doing these days, coaching wise?
So I'm not coaching at Knox Catholic anymore. This year I stepped away from school ball, and I'm gonna dive really hard into AAU. I just started my own AAU program. We're kicking off like now. So like as soon as school season ends, our oldest group's in 8th grade. I'm starting with the younger groups because I'm partnering up with Triple F, and we're going to really focus hard on development. And I wanted to start to where I'd have a few years with them. And so oldest group's in 8th grade, and youngest is in 5th grade. And so they're going to be lifting twice a week, practice twice a week, skills training once a week, playing less tournaments. So it's kind of going to be like, I guess some people call it like the European style, where you practice more than you play. Whereas here in America, we play 5 billion tournaments and practice maybe once a week, So that's really what I'm doing right now. And then training on the weekends. So
yeah. So what does that partnership with Triple F look like?
So I pay them, a portion of the team fee goes to Triple F for like the rent, and then so like twice a week, 2 times a week, an hour before practice, they've got an hour lift. So before practice, they come in early, and they got an hour lift with Triple F. It's tailor-made fit to the team, and so it's going to be basketball focused. They're going to have one day, I think, that's going to be more general strength and agility, and another day that's really going to focus hard on like vertical jump and stuff like that, which is what, obviously all the kids want. But the truth is, it's incredibly important. Coaches want to see kids play above the rim. So,
Yeah. So what about like long-term? Have you like mapped that out, what you want to achieve coaching wise long term?
Long term, I've been, back and forth with a few different things. At first, when I first got started with all of this, it was kind of like, I wanted to be a player development coach. That's why, really, I called myself a basketball player development coach before I called myself a trainer. Just because I like that aspect of things. Like, maybe, obviously the dream growing up here in East Tennessee, be a player development coach on, Tennessee staff one day. But, it's shifted into more of the youth. I really feel like you make the biggest difference as a coach, and I've seen myself, whether it's faith-based or basketball-based, on and off the court, manners, things like that. You make the biggest difference and biggest impact on men, when they're young, middle school, elementary school age, in my opinion. It's been the most rewarding. So
heck yeah. Have you gotten to see any like cool success stories so far with kids you worked with?
I would say as far as like transformation goes, I mean, there's not an incredible, I haven't been in this too long. I would say incredible transformation, end of story. I haven't seen an end of story yet. So, there's a lot of work in progress, but I have seen a lot of incredible transformation, and probably some kids you'll hear about in the next few years that are developing really well. Cade Murphy's a kid that, I got to work with at Catholic last year, and he's a kid that was blessed with some good size. He's 6'5" shooting guard, but, that's not extremely uncommon. What is extremely uncommon was his work ethic. He just picked up his first mid-major D1 offer probably a month or two ago. And I mean, the only testament to that is the hard work he's put in. And not all of it was with me. So I won't take credit for his success, but it is just good to see. And it's good for the other kids to see what hard work can do, when you're not blessed with necessarily freakish athleticism hitting your head on the rim. If you have decent size, and sometimes even if you don't, if you just work hard enough and stay in the gym, work the right way, then, it'll pay off. So,
yeah. Ty Glasper's another guy I've seen you work with that I know he's doing impressive things.
Oh yeah. Ty Glasper, he's incredible. I thought he could have been a mid-major kid. He ended up committing to Lincoln Memorial, which is a Division II, but if you've seen the school, it's pretty nice. And they produce some guys. They're I think probably the best in their conference. But Ty Glasper, you want to talk about respectful, kind, hardworking. He comes in every single day focused. He's going to stretch before the workout instead of play on his phone. Just a really down-to-earth, mature kid. Talk about maturity for a high school man. Like that's a man. He walks in the gym. He's got the presence. He carries himself like a young man. So
yeah, and his personality too. That's why obviously NIL is a thing even for high schoolers in Tennessee. So
right.
I hired him to do an NIL thing at one of our Gatlinburg restaurants.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I've said this before with my guys, like a Division I personality. Now, some people get cursed to have athleticism and freakish talent at a young age, but the ones who, get to work through it end up having, these Cade Murphys, these Ty Glaspers, just an incredible personality, infectious, good teammates, great smiles, just great kids, really. So.
Yeah. This might be hard for you to answer, but just since I've known you, your kind of passion and enthusiasm is kind of infectious. Like, where does that come from?
I fell in love with basketball. I'd say in like the 7th grade, my best friend, I was a complete video game nerd. I wasn't on the court. I wasn't on the field. I was, but the best friend that I made was in love with basketball. He happened to be the school's best player. It was just funny how that worked out. I ended up falling in love with that game. When I went to his house, he didn't have, the video games. He wanted to go outside and play basketball. And I fell in love with the game then. And I think the love that I had for that game and the bonds that it brought me at a young age, I think kept my passion going. And then when I started to realize about my junior, senior year that, I wasn't going to go on to be some incredible college basketball player, professional basketball player, it shifted then. I really got the most out of practice and got the most out of games when I could coach up my teammates, when I could push my teammates, and that really fulfilled me. I had a city job as like a garbage man, and had a key to this local gym in Lenore City, and I would open that gym up as soon as I graduated. It was the summer going into my freshman year at UT. And I would get in the middle school kids in the area, just pack the gym out. I'd get 20, 30 kids in there. And I found out very quickly that helping young men grow, not just on the court, but off the court, teach them how to talk to people, teach them how to act. And that very quickly became my biggest passion. And so I think it started there. And I really couldn't tell you what keeps it going, but I think it's just that. I think it's just the love. I just love it so much. And, if that rubs off on somebody, it's almost like, if I can infect somebody with that passion, that fire, it rubs right back off onto me again. It'll reignite my flame when I can ignite someone else. So I guess that's what probably keeps me going.
Heck yeah, that's a great answer. You mentioned Tennessee in that. I know that you've done a little bit of work with the team, with the Vols. And I'd imagine you got some cool stories with some of the guys from kind of behind the scenes. I'd love to hear some of those.
Yeah, well, so my freshman year in my dorm, I happened to get Stokely, which is like where a lot of the freshman, sophomore athletes get to stay. So we just lucked out, me and my friend. We lucked out. We got to stay in the nice dorm. And right down the hall was one of the basketball players that I had a mutual friend with. And so we very quickly became friends. We had a lot in common, being both in love with the sport, him as a player, me as a coach. And yeah, that was my first real introduction, I guess. BJ Edwards is another guy. He was a freshman my freshman year. He's at SMU now, but that was, I guess, where it started. Obviously, I've grown up as a Tennessee fan, but that was my first, I guess, in with the basketball squad. Luckily, I got to work with some of the coaches' sons and get connected with the coaches and work camp throughout the summer, but I've never worked directly with the program. It's always kind of been outside or at a camp, but yeah, I mean, it took me probably a year out of high school before I really kind of got the respect to work with a player. You know what I mean? I mean, look, I don't look, I don't even look 20 years old. I look like I'm 16. So, it takes a lot for me to gain some, especially older guys' trust. And so, yeah, I would say right after I left D1, I worked with a guy named Justin Wakefield, and he worked with former Vol Jordan Bowden, who's with the Hawks G League right now, BJ Edwards, who was a current player there. And, we would go up there and work out when we could. And that was my first in. Well, Justin packed up his bags, moved to South Carolina and said, Avery, here you go. And so really, I would say my first few workouts were with pro college guys, getting, on the court really in that way. And I've had the privilege to have a few of the current Vols this year. Jordan Gainey and Igor Milicic come to some pickup games this summer. One of the walk-ons, Campbell Duncan, really nice guy. And like I said, just get to work camp in the summertime with a bunch of little kids, which is my passion, helping kids, grow. It's just a lot of fun having a bunch of kids there, all share the same love for Orange, like I did growing up. And so that's been a lot of fun. And any chance I get, luckily being able to train and coach some of the coaches' sons, any chance I get to pick their brain, you want to talk about a ridiculous staff. Coach Barnes leading the head, Justin Gainey, Jordan Gainey's dad. You got Brian Lentz, Greg Polinsky, Rod Clark, GAs, Riley Collins, and Dave Kasanganai. You want to talk about just a bunch of great guys that know the game. Any chance I can listen, eavesdrop, anything on what they're saying and just learn the game, and any chance I can get the players in the gym or watch the players work, you never get too big. You never know too much to stop learning. So we're really blessed to have such a great school and such a great program right in our backyard.
Yeah. Justin Gainey, actually, I grew up in Eastern North Carolina. I was an NC State fan. So I remember watching him play the Wolfpack.
Yeah. He was, I'm pretty sure he was in operations at NC State. That's how he got his start in basketball. Was over there at NC State, not as an assistant, but something to do in operations. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what's something that very few people know about you?
I'm a pretty open book. I keep it fairly open. I talk a lot. So there's not a whole lot that goes unknown. I guess personal life, I'm from right outside of Knoxville, Loudoun County. So I'm not actually from Knoxville. I grew up, I didn't play basketball until the 8th grade. Broke my back, was in a back brace, so I really didn't play basketball until I was a junior in high school.
Wow.
So kind of got dealt a tough deck there. But man, as far as stuff people don't know, I'm pretty open.
I can't imagine
that's
a
all
guy
I got.
like
That's
you,
the best I got.
Yeah, a guy with your energy being like sidelined with a back brace. I can't imagine that.
Oh man, best cheerleader you could ask for.
Good. Yeah, I'd expect nothing less. How about one unforgettable sports memory, either as a player or as a coach?
Unforgettable sports memory. as a player, this is just the first one that comes to my mind. I'm sure, I could think of some good ones, but my first year playing, I had transferred schools to a bigger school, to Lenore City. It's my junior year. This is fresh out of COVID. Lenore City's been terrible, terrible. Haven't won a district game in a few years, right? So we have our first district game of the year, like an hour drive up to Heritage, okay? They schedule, this is the first district game of the year, senior night on that night. Right. Disrespect. I mean, we were hurting. We were ready to get to it, okay? So it comes down to the wire. We're down 20 points going into the fourth quarter. We come all the way back. My boy Cody Cross, we called him Captain Clutch for the rest of my 2 years, catches it in the corner with 3 seconds left, lets it fly. Ball game. Wins the game. That's probably, if I were to say, that's probably my funnest memory. Unforgettable. Captain Clutch, Cody Cross wins the game. First district game in a long time. We actually went on to beat West, a loaded West squad that year. That was a fun, I think we got off to an 8-0 start. That was a fun year. Fun year. Unforgettable moment. That's what I got.
It's good. Anytime you got like a big comeback and a last second shot, that's going to stick with you.
I would also say an unforgettable moment. I met my kind of, I guess you would say, training idol, like the guy that I look up to. This summer, flew out to LA. Me and Lily flew out to LA, and I got to meet a guy named Jordan Lawley. He's the best in the game, in my opinion. He owns his own court out in Irvine, California, right south of LA. And I got to go out there, and you want to talk about meeting people, and some people can be Hollywood or disrespectful, or, if you don't have a certain amount of followers or work with a certain amount of guys in the league, then, they kind of look past you. You want to talk about meeting a stranger for the first time, giving you a hug. Like, this guy, Jordan Lawley, is everything he is all the time. He is the same dude all the time, good Christian guy. That's probably something that'll stick with me for a very long time. It's kind of, in Knoxville, we don't have a lot of guys obsessed with this game like I am, or, there are a few coaches in the area. We've got Tennessee in the backyard. But when you talk about guys that really love this game and love developing young players into having, great careers, it was really exceptional to meet a guy like that and actually be kind and, good Christian values. That was just a really cool moment for me that I'll never forget.
Yeah. So one last question. I didn't even actually put this on the notes. What is something that you need to develop before you can be like a super successful head coach of a program? Like, what is one thing that you still need to work on? You need to really figure this out.
So as a head coach, I would say for any coach in any program, I'm pursuing AAU right now, but school ball, college ball, professional ball, in my mind, and of course I'm still young in this game, I would say delegation. This is something that's, I feel like, an overlooked deal because everybody wants me. It's all about me. It's all about, my skills, my abilities as a coach. You can only do so much. And if you really want to be great, we talk about sharing the ball, be a good teammate to our kids, but are we a good teammate as a coach? Are we delegating, letting our assistant coaches, do their work, do their part, right? And so I think to be a successful head coach, you got to be able to take control, but you also got to be able to give up some control and trust your team. I think that's a big part of earning trust on their end. So delegation.
That's a great answer. Yeah, that's a great answer for really any form of management. That's something I've had to learn.
100%.
Man, hell of an interview. I really appreciate it.
Let's go.
It's great to catch up.
Stutter?
No, not one bit.
Okay. All right.
You do have a big booger right there. Just kidding. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to text Igor here in a few, and I'm going to see if I may just put you on a group chat. I think I still got your number.
Yeah, man. That would be awesome. I really appreciate that. Let's stay in touch.
How about the Gainey family?
I've had Jordan on.
You had Jordan on?
Yeah.
He's got a little brother that plays at Catholic.
No, I didn't.
Yep, coached him last year, Jason Gainey. Hilarious, dude. Team clown, hilarious.
That'd be cool. Heck yeah.
Hilarious. And Justin, I've got Justin's number. Brian Lentz is an assistant at UT. Owen Lentz, do you know who that is?
Uh-uh.
Dog. dog. He plays at Webb. He just dropped 27 on Bearden.
Woo.
Yeah, he's so that's little brother for Coach Lentz, another assistant player development coach at UT. That's little brother. You got an older brother that plays at Milligan right now. Good shooter. But Owen, if you want to do a high school guy in the area, Owen and Jason are two Vol family that would be great.
I'd love that. Heck yeah, man. Well, excellent. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much, buddy.
All right, sounds good. See ya.
See you, dude. Later.